throughout my postgraduate career, I specialize in polymers and chemical product design. I'm now a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Pretoria until August 2018. And I've also studied, it's a spin-off company called African Applied Chemical.
Okay.
The company is in the process of commercializing a technology that was developed during my PhD and postdoctoral research.
Nice.
And I must admit that I did not really think my studies in chemical engineering had anything in common with malaria prevention.
Yeah.
So when I was offered the research topic in malaria by my supervisor, I rejected it initially.
Like straight up, like
Straight
I
up,
can't do
like,
this.
yeah, I can't do this.
This is not what I'm here for.
This is not what I'm here for, exactly. So during further discussions with my supervisor, it became apparent that we needed to design new formulations to suppress mosquito population using alternative insecticides and minimize the use of DDT.
Okay.
So this project also had a huge social aspect, because I was supposed to design a formulation that was effective and affordable to rural people, and that is where malaria is mostly prevalent.
Yes.
So this social aspect of helping poor people through scientific innovations attracted me immensely, and that's why I eventually agreed to join the research group. There is evidence that mosquitoes are shifting their biting behavior to mostly outside human dwellings to avoid exposure to lethal insecticides that have been mass deployed using indoor residual spraying and long-lasting insecticide-treated nets. So the hypothesis is that if we can effectively prevent outdoor mosquito bites, we may be able to drastically reduce malaria transmission on a large scale in Africa. Now, one of my colleagues, Professor Leo Brack, an entomologist based at the University of Pretoria Institute for Sustainable Malaria Control, observed that when outdoors, malaria-transmitting mosquitoes will mostly bite their victims on the lower limb, particularly on the ankles and feet.
Okay.
Now, you can use topical repellents to prevent outdoor mosquito bites, but these repellents have a short length of residual effectiveness. Okay. That is, they last only a few hours. They're very volatile. They quickly evaporate from your skin.
Okay.
Now, they require reapplication every few hours to maintain effectiveness. So this makes topical formulations, the topical repellent formulation, expensive, particularly for rural people where malaria is mostly prevalent. And you have to stock up and keep on reapplying, so people cannot afford to stock up. So the aim of my research work is to increase the residual effectiveness of liquid repellents, volatile liquid repellents, from a few hours to the order of months. Okay, so the idea is to impregnate the liquid repellent into a polymer matrix. This polymer acts as a reservoir or a container, if you can imagine that, that stores a high amount of the volatile liquid repellent and then slowly releases the repellent into the surrounding air over a long period of time. In chemical engineering, call this controlled release, and it's widely used to reduce the rate of evaporation of volatile liquids. Okay, so this controlled release greatly increases the length of residual effectiveness of the repellent. One application of controlled release polymer vehicles is the manufacture of fibers that can be knitted into mosquito repellent fabrics that are effective, that have a long-lasting repellent effect, and also very affordable. So these fabrics may be used to manufacture socks and ankle covers that reduce mosquito bites on the ankle area, thereby reducing outdoor malaria transmission. Still a lot of work to be done. For example, you can control mosquitoes here in South Africa, but you don't effectively control them in Mozambique, for example. They'll just fly over the border and occupy that space.
And they don't care.
They don't care, they don't know any borders. So
they don't even get visas, they don't have passports, they just chill. They're just like flying. Those things are disrespectful,
So, you have to realize then that, different countries have to work together to eliminate it at the same time. Because you can't eliminate it from one place and then still high on another area. So you need that multi-government cooperation. In collaboration, they have to work together and have one strategy to control malaria and control the parasite itself. And also, the initiative that has been done by the Institute for Sustainable Malaria Control is excellent, because you get people from different research groups coming together and looking at the problem from different aspects. And then with the solution that you get is a very strong solution that covers, all areas.
Yeah.
So there's no one research expertise that can solve the problem of malaria.
It takes everybody.
It takes everybody. So
and it requires everybody.
Exactly.
Good morning, Temi, and a very, very good morning to all the Encore listeners. I'm very happy to be here. I was born and raised in Johannesburg, Josie Maboneng.
Okay.
Yeah, and fell in love with maths from a very early age. And I'm currently here at the University of Pretoria doing my master's in applied maths. Yeah, so I'm Betty, and yeah, speak a few languages, Sotho, Zulu as well. Did Zulu at school. Finished that with a distinction, surprisingly.
Wow,
so
well done. See,
I
told you have a genius in this thing, not just in mathematics, but everything else.
I also suffer from a condition called keratoconus. It means that I'm visually impaired, so that has been a very huge challenge for me. But yeah, I'm a very motivated person and a person who cares very deeply. Well, I'm a firm believer that Africans have the ability to solve African problems, and that we should all make our contribution. And I've always tried to find a meaningful way to apply my mathematics. I had an interest in the applications of biology and mathematics, but really from a distance. And when I specialized in biomathematics, that's where I was exposed to how mathematicians analyze and deal with diseases, such as HIV, TB, and malaria, just to name a few.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to study malaria came about from a collaboration between the Maths and Applied Maths department here at the University of Pretoria with the University of Pretoria's Institute for Sustainable Malaria Control. My supervisor, Dr. Rashid Wifki, proposed the topic, and I immediately jumped on it. So yeah, in South Africa, malaria is endemic in KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, and Limpopo. And control programs exist in these areas, which usually focused on spraying, on indoor residual spraying, and in particular using DDT. And it has been actually quite successful at reducing the malaria notifications in these regions. But DDT is controversial because it does pose health risks for those exposed to the spraying. So what I would do is use a model that describes malaria dynamics.
And you're going to build this model from scratch?
Not necessarily. I'll definitely look into what malaria models exist currently already, and work with those, and also include in the model the actual intervention of DDT. Yeah, so that's where I pretty much started. And then from there, you do some analysis to try to deduce from there what the gains could be. And I mean, the aim of it is to see to assess the cost benefit and the cost effectiveness of proper use of DDT and the education of DDT. Yeah. I definitely think we should acknowledge how far we've come in eliminating malaria, and I think my thoughts are gonna echo Dr. Bong's thoughts as well, in the sense that I think we all have a role to play in reaching the World Health Organization's targets, and even South African's government's target of eliminating malaria by 2018. Everything from individuals really educating themselves about preventing the risk of contracting malaria to support of meaningful research, and to the government and public health sector as well in implementing sustainable interventions in eliminating malaria. So yeah, I think we've done well so far. We've got a lot of work to do. But yeah, and we also need to monitor what we're doing really well. I think that's always really important.